Will you be my
Valentine?
You get it? Because it's got hearts in the wheel. And you see it? It's pretty cool. There's one right there, and then there's one right there.
How neat is that?
It's pretty neat. Well, it's part of an unboxing, just thought you should know. We tell ourselves sometimes in the world that WRXs and S2000s are somehow reliable cars, especially at a young age, even though you know it and I know it because they're not, okay? We get used to lying to ourselves when we build cars, you know, pretending that we know more about the cars than the companies that actually built them. Because we are men, and that is what we do, and girls do it too, it's not intentional, okay? But we really do start to believe that little voice in our head that does tell, you know, they come in and they're like, hey, it's gonna be okay, buddy, all right? Coolant in the transmission, that's okay, we'll get it fixed, all right? And let me tell you, it's not okay. But if I tell myself enough, then it probably will be, okay? There's been cars out there, though, that don't betray you. There's been cars out there that are just like, they're just the perfect car. Cars that were built with one thing in mind, which was peace, reliability, okay? Cars that want to break, like, they don't want to break your heart, but they instead want to be that constant drawer that always has Girl Scout cookies in your kitchen. And if you know that drawer, it's a banger, okay? I'm Alex at Define Instagram, and today we're gonna be talking about one of the most reliable cars out there, a car that legitimately is damn near impossible to prematurely break, okay? A car that would make your parents proud, okay? And insurance agents angry because they won't actually make a lot of money off of you because you're a testosterone-filled male that owns a car that typically you just wouldn't own, okay? Today, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna be talking about you wanting to own a Toyota Corolla. And if you're just jumping into this, hey there, bud. All right, welcome to Fitment Industries, and if you haven't yet subscribed, please be sure to do so. I know that you guys are stuck at home right now, all right? Spoiler alert, guess what's at home? YouTube. And it would be fantastic if you did subscribe because it would make our little hearts happy, okay? We like that number, don't judge us. And it helps us make more banging videos like this. If you're looking for aftermarket wheels, tires, or suspension in your hiatus from being outside, be sure to check us out over at fitmentindustries.com, where we have a gallery that you can actually check how wheels would look on your car, or you can pick up a set of wheels and tires, because guess what? They don't want you hanging next to your friends, even though you probably, I mean, maybe you only have a couple two-tree, but you can hang out with your car, all right? We got Rotiforms, Works, BC Coils, Airlift, the whole 9 yards. You can just sit there, stare at the car, it doesn't talk back, won't get you sick, you won't get Nana sick, it's gonna be a good time, okay? Anyway, the Toyota Corolla, meaning small crown in Toyota's name lineage, was introduced all the way back in 1966, the same year that the USSR and United States told each other that they wouldn't nuke each other from space.
Tactical nuke incoming!
Because apparently that wasn't fair. The Toyota Corolla took little to no time in the popularity department because it quickly became the most popular car sold by 1974. And in 1997, it became the best-selling nameplate in the world, beating my boo, the good old Beetle, okay? And by 2016, what's wrong with my glasses? And by 2016, had sold over 44 million cars in the world. Right? That's what I'm saying. 44 million. The only other time I've ever had 44 million of anything was when I sold my Halloween mask, which was green, at Varrock West one time before GE was a thing. Then GE became a thing and I bought an AGS once that whole thing dropped and started spanging some nudes. Oh my God, some nudes. I didn't even know what nudes were when I was playing old school RuneScape. When I was beating up noobs in Edgeville, that's what I was trying to say, and now we're just here. This is uncomfortable. The Corolla would be introduced as Toyota's flagship entry vehicle that was sold pretty much everywhere to everyone for every single purpose you could possibly imagine. The car was rebadged by GM during times under Holden, sold with a different nameplate in the beginning depending on what sheet metal was used, and just had a bunch of little weird quirks and things about it that could pretty much just get the car everywhere in the world. And it always had a focus about, you know, creating like a car that people like you and people like me really enjoyed, a car that just worked, okay? The first generation of the Corolla were small, okay? They were predominantly rear-wheel drive with little tiny baby motors, because most of them were little baby motors. That's just how it went. The Corolla was also incredibly popular, not just because it was a good car, but because Toyota decimated all when it came to supply chain and management structures, mostly during Corolla's side. Okay, there's a couple times where Toyota wasn't doing that well, but they could get them everywhere in every country. And like a damn dandelion, it was a good thing for Toyota. Toyota would continue to price their cars always slightly at or below competition, and due to easy availability and never having to worry about stock, and they're just kind of always a little bit ahead of the curve around EPA regulations and their importation laws, they pretty much just stayed way ahead of the curve, and the Corolla just thrived everywhere it went. It was a car that really just wasn't backlogged by the long arm of the law. It was just a car that snuck in. It was goody two-shoes. It was the baby brother that never got in trouble. It was the golden child, if you will, of Toyota. And fun fact, E30s are a third-gen Corolla. Just saying. The real major touch of attention was in the 5th generation Corolla back in 1983. Through the 5th generation, which introduced the iconic AE85 and AE86, okay? This would be the last generation that would also offer the Corolla in a rear-wheel drive format. Banging, all right? These bad boys were a firecracker of a car, okay? Light as hell, easy to modify, and cheap to own. It was insane that Toyota was able to even make a car like this, and I really just wish they could come back and do it again. Everything you need to have fun around a racetrack or canyon road, the AE86 was that, okay? Also, here's a remark to talk about Initial D, because there's gotta be an Initial D joke in there somewhere. Cue the D joke. The car was iconic, but ultimately, we'll need a separate video for that, and I'm not talking about it, because just like EA, we're just gonna squeeze that one out. You can just let us know in the comments if you want us to talk about it more, okay? Maybe. Anyway, the AE86 was a banger of a car, and a car that gave Toyota some much needed love and attention in the motorsport department. Back in the 70s and 80s and all that time, there was everybody and their mother getting into motorsport, and Toyota wasn't really vibing in it that much, and they really wanted to show that they could create a car to a growing group of automotive enthusiasts in Japan, and it worked tremendously well. That would be the last time the Corolla would get too crazy in the sport car realm, because Corollas aren't inherently known for being incredibly sport-oriented, okay? They aren't a car that was built to go fast. It wasn't really a car that was built to really take any chances, if you will, okay? Not many Maverick drives with these cars, okay? Mostly just people that want good gas mileage, decent space, and, you know, like not really having to worry about the car. Sales never really even deviated for the Corolla either. It was just always good. It was always there. It was like opening up, you know, your cupboard for food and just always finding that same roll of Oreos that you've had for the last 2.5 years, okay? I don't know what to tell you, but the Corolla is just a good car. The most recent generations would ultimately get wagon versions, hot hatch versions. What the fuck is going on with my English? They would get wagon versions, hot hatch versions, okay? They got the word sport added to the name and be sold in every conceivable trim, color, design, and body style you could possibly imagine. Because guess what, guys and gals, Toyota is loaded, okay? But we're not here to talk about the history of the good old Bud Light of cars, okay? We're here about you wanting to talk about owning one. How is my English this bad right now? We're here to talk about you wanting to own one of these bad boys. So you want a Toyota Corolla, okay? Well, set down your favorite limited edition Initial D DVD, okay? And grab your favorite Yeti water cup, because we're about to jump into what it's like to owning one of these very standard, they're like the Wonder Bread of cars. You just can't be mad at them. Toyota Corollas are one of the safest bets in owning a car. It's actually almost insane how safe of a bet a Corolla actually is. It's like playing Halo on easy mode. It's everything you could possibly want to do to a car, you do with a Corolla, and it's gonna forgive you for making a mistake. I would actually tout the Corolla as being right next to the Mazda Miata in terms of being able to put up with your shit, okay? It's like the tutorial mission in Modern Warfare 2. It's like playing co-op Halo 3 and only having to ride in the Warthog at the end of the season and not actually have to drive. I mean, anyway, the older generations, although neat, aren't really something most people modify, and that's because most of them have kind of just fell away. They don't really exist anymore. They're broken down, and cars like that, especially how they were made back then, with the sheet metal and the lack of rust repair, I mean, they pretty much just literally broke apart. You really won't see much of interest until the 5th generations, which was ultimately with the AE85 and the AE86, which host a plethora of modification support. They're fun, they have a fantastic wheelbase setup, they're very short and they're very narrow, and the community that surrounds them is pretty substantial. The AE86 specifically has a ton of love behind it. Although they can have some wiring issues over time, the car itself is the Miata of the 80s. Right, Jared? Right. Moving into the newer generations, the cars remain relatively simple for most enthusiasts. Wheels end up being anything and everything with really no design preference. I mean, you jump out in the gallery, there's pretty much everything. Tires are the same way. Pretty much BC coilovers are the only thing that is predominantly popular in Toyota Corollas from a brand perspective. But again, people run just about anything, which brings up an interesting thing with Corollas. Why are car modifications around this platform all over the place? Well, that is a good question.
Stranger danger.
Okay, the Toyota Corolla was massively produced and hit the widest audience of car owners out of nearly any other car that exists in the world. This means that the 35-year-old dentist down the street that owns one also happens to be, I mean, just another Joe, Jane, oh my God. This means the 35-year-old dentist down the street that owns one and the 16-year-old that was forced to buy one from the parentals have the same car. And that's not very typical. The wide range of people that own these are usually all across the board, from ages and interests, demographics, all that sort of good stuff, okay? And because people have become a hodgepodge lodge of things all summed up into this one Toyota Corolla platform, the interests are literally across the board. If you're someone that's looking to pick up one of these, regardless of generation, you're gonna wanna keep these little things about the car that in the back of your head, because they aren't inherently a very sharp or aggressive car. They're not a car that is like a sport oriented vehicle. It's a car that's just a car, man. A lot were made, but they can still have some issues. The CVT Trans is an oddball, and that's one you're always gonna wanna stray away from if possible. Otherwise, get one and make sure you have a warranty on it. The car is not necessarily a rock star in any single department either. It's just good in a lot of them. They aren't really too quick, nor are they inherently that sporty unless you really give them lots and lots and lots and lots of love. However, they are really a car for that. They're mostly just a car for you to get from point A to point B and enjoy the way that it looks and drives and feels. It's pretty much mostly it's a car that's looking for somebody that's easy to own, easy to maintain, doesn't get too much for it in any real major way, and can have some wheels and tires and maybe a little bit of a coilover kit on it just to make it look decent. And that's what the Toyota Corolla really does well. It's really not meant for a hardcore enthusiast more than it's really meant for somebody that it's just, well, a car. I mean, the Toyota Corolla is just a car that also just wants to go through in its 9 to 5 and get to work and get back and not really have to worry about being broken in any single way, shape, or form. Throw some wheels on it, throw some tires on it, you're pretty much all set to go. And if you want, throw some tint, slam it on the ground, and it's still a Toyota Corolla. The good news is the more conventional vehicles get, the more people get creative in terms of doing modifications to it. I absolutely love when like a standard car has some nice wheels, tires, maybe coils or air, and it just looks good because you still got the 4 doors, you still got the trunk, you still got all the space in the world, and it still looks decent. So what do you think about the Toyota Corolla? Let us know in the comment section below. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you're looking for wheels, tires, or suspension, be sure to check us out over at fitmentindustries.com. And you have a gallery where you can actually see what others have done with their Corolla, and it's pretty neat. But yeah, that's all I got. Wash your hands, don't touch your face. Hopefully this all passes over. And if it doesn't, well, I got 3 cats, so I'm good. I'm Alex from Fitment Industries. We'll see you later. Peace.